Good afternoon, everybody. Phil Simons with Columbia Grain here in your Friday afternoon weekly grain market recap. Well, we did have the June supply and demand numbers released on Wednesday of this week from the USDA. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So we're going to navigate over to our favorite website, columbiagrain.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, we can go to the Producer Solutions link, which will take us over to our Producer Solutions tab, which is where we house all of our pertinent data that could be potentially driving the markets. But again, we did have the June supply and demand numbers released on Wednesday of this week. So let's take a quick look at what those were. Quite honestly, there wasn't a huge change when we look at the ending stocks or potential ending stocks for old crop. We did see soybeans increase slightly by about 3% month over month and up about 10 million bushels from last month. When we look at corn and also on wheat, there was net zero change there, so really nothing to discuss from a new news type standpoint. When we look at the new crop, the 24-25 crop, we do see corn again printing a net zero change month on month, or from the February Ag Outlook Forum, actually. When we look at soybeans, actually, we're up slightly in terms of ending stocks for the U.S., potentially anyhow, coming in at 455 million bushels. When we look at wheat, was actually down just slightly, down to 758 million bushels for new crop ending sales, or ending stocks, excuse me, down about 1% from the February Ag Outlook Forum. The bigger thing that we were really kind of focusing in on this latest version of the numbers was the winter wheat potential production estimates. And quite honestly, there wasn't really big shakeups, but the one that we were honing in on was the hard red winter wheat, quite honestly, as that number was coming in at 726 million bushels of potential production, which was up about 3% from last month's estimate of 705 million bushels. So that was really the thing that did stick out more like a sore thumb when we are looking at the overall winter wheat production estimates. And especially when you compare it to last year. Last year, we were at 601 million bushels, and this year we're at estimating anyway at 726. So up significantly from where we were last year. When we look at the world numbers as well, there really wasn't any major changes there or anything to get too overly excited about. So it was really just more about the winter wheat production estimates along with the weather, and the weather is looking rather benign right now, to be quite honest. So there really wasn't too much to be too concerned about this week. When we look at the U.S. wheat balance sheets anyway, and then also the winter wheat production, I did want to kind of hone in on this one a little bit more too, because this was really the thing that we were paying attention to, was the winter wheat production change from last month's estimates. So we do see that really Montana, the increase from last month is up about 7.5 million bushels from the May estimates to the June estimates. And also in Kansas, I mean, coming up 14.1 million bushels in 1 month, which is a pretty significant change there. So again, just something that was putting a little bit of downward pressure on the markets as we went through the week. But when talking about the downward pressure, let's just take a look and see what the actual net change was on the futures here this week. We do see that the weekly range in corn was 16 cents with a net gain of 3 cents there. And then same thing on soybeans. We had an overall range of 22 cents. When the dust settled here this week, we're actually down about 10 cents at the close here on Friday. When we look at winter wheat, we do see the ranges actually magnifying a little bit, coming up to a 41-cent range. And we did lose 43 cents week on week here. Again, really stemming from the potential increase in production and just a lack of concern when it comes to the weather markets this week. Same in Chicago, we had a 24-cent range there, lost 20 cents on the week. And in Minneapolis, a 34-cent range, and we actually wound up losing 37 cents week on week. So again, just really highlighting what we're looking at from a potential production standpoint from the USDA and what they think that we could potentially see this year. Again, there's going to be a lot of more weather that we continue to play into it. Harvest is well on its way in the South here in the U.S. Quality isn't really any major concerns as of yet. There are some concerns that continuing to stem really more in the Midwest section of the U.S. So continue to see what actually unfolds there. But other than that, really just trying to highlight the importance of getting those orders out there and working, especially with harvest right around the corner for wheat. We want to make sure that we're ready and prepared to take advantage of any of those type of knee-jerk reactions that we may see going forward here. So get a hold of your local merchandisers, managers, and buyers. Get those orders out there and working. And really for anything, for accumulator contracts, hedge to arrive contracts, basis contracts, or just straight up cash contracts. Get those orders out there and get them working because they do work for you regardless of what you're doing. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up for the weekend here. It is Father's Day weekend. So remember, when the plate of cookies goes around the table, be sure to grab a couple. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk with you next week.